Hi guys, Jay here. So this wasn't a planned video, this was just more for my own curiosity. I'm not going to delve too much into FP1 and FP2 until the end of the video, and I'll just give you a very quick thought on it. But I've been messing around with something in Excel for the last 2 days, trying to wrap my head around this whole new price scoring system. And I've been watching a ton of videos by various content creators over the last 2 days, getting different notes and systems and stuff like that. So you can see here I've got my draft teams for the Australian Grand Prix. And so for this example, we're going to use my main team, Team 1. So just go into it. And so you can see we've got 2 Tier A constructors in Ferrari and Mercedes. We've got 1 Tier A driver in Oscar Piastri, who's the ×2 driver. And we've got 4 Tier B drivers, Ocon, Behrman, Hadjar, Bortoleto, with 1 million spare in the bank. Now, as things stand, I'm still happy with this team. I know there's been a lot of talk about HAAS's pace, and obviously Behrman unfortunately crashed in FP1. I'm not going to be awake for FP3, but I am going to wake up for qualifying. I can't stay up for FP3 just because of health reasons. To be honest, I shouldn't really be getting up too early anyway, because my body needs its rest. But that said, I'm mainly going by my gut feeling from FP1 and 2, and because of what I'm going to show you and my thoughts on it. So you see at the bottom I've got 3 phases. I've got phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. So phase 3 is obviously where I'm at, but phase 1 is where it started. Now, do not read too much into any of these sheets. This was just me playing around in Excel. I'm not an Excel expert, but I do know some basic formulas, like adding, dividing, multiplying, etc. And I just have a weird interest in Excel. So, in the beginning, I went with these numbers that I saw to try and get the driver's value increases. So if we go to C2, we go the starting price times B13, which is 1.1. So that would be a great performance. Would give Piastri 25.30 points, and his value would increase by 0.3 million. So 23.3. In fact, let me just change the decimals on these very, very quickly, because otherwise it may get confusing. Sorry about that. So yeah, so what's that? So Piastri, his price times 1.1, new value 23.3 million. So it's an increase of 0.3 million. And then again, we've got his new value increase. Rounds 1 to 3, his value increase is 0.9 million. So that's a 3.9% increase in value at 1.3% each race. So this was the first phase. The trouble with this was there was lots of talk about that assets are going to drop and then gain with inflation. That's the theory. And so on F1 Fantasy Tools, when I looked, all of a sudden, a lot of the top teams had minus in growth, in value growth. So I was like, okay, well then this can't be right. So, and this was based on a great performance, by the way, for each asset. So okay, well, there's no drops in value here, so this can't be right. So then yesterday evening, I should say, because I was out yesterday afternoon. Yesterday evening, I tried again. So this time, now this should be points per million, which I wasn't aware of at first. So this time around, we've got more cells, because I was trying to break it down piece by piece. And we've now got these numbers for great, good, poor, and terrible performance for Tier A and for Tier B, with what the change in value is. Okay. So let's use Oscar Piastri again. So he scores 25 points in Australia, let's say. Over 3 races, that's 25 points, because obviously it's the first race of the season. That gives him a points per million of 1.09, which gives him a 1.09. And so this is where I made a mistake. So I was going, oh, okay, so that is a good result, a poor result, because it's, well, actually, now I think about it, that would have been a terrible result. I mean, this is wrong anyway. So what I should have done is actually gone to a terrible result. But either way, this is wrong anyway. Point is, I was looking at this to get this. The positive though was that I was having drops in value before getting increases in value. But again, once I realized that no, I can't go by this, because all of these numbers, or at least 99% of these numbers, are higher than these numbers. So that doesn't make sense. So that's wrong. So then today, I tried again. And this is what I came up with. So again, Oscar Piastri, 25 points in round 1. That's 25 points over the first 3 races, because it's the first race. Again, 1.09 points per million. Now we have a more accurate score. We've got the points over 3 races divided by value times 3. I'm not sure where the times 3 comes into it, but that's what I've seen floating around. That's what I've seen on some of the videos that I've watched. So that's what I've gone with. I'm not an expert. I couldn't tell you why. But it does now give me a score which corresponds to these. So 0.36 is a good result. So it's plus $10. This should be in dollars. This is how tired I am with doing this. So he increases. $100,000, I should say. So he increases to 23.1 million. Okay, you with me so far? And then again, the points I've just thrown in, they're just random. I just went with basic scoring system. So again, 25 points in round 2. So over 3 races, that's 50 points. 2.16 points per million. A score of 0.72. Now he has a great result because it's over 0.4. Value increases to 23.4. And then so on in round 3, 25 points, that's a total of 75. 3.21 points per million. Score of 1.07. Again, it's a great result. So now he's up to 23.7 million. And over here we can see his increase is, but this is what's weird. His increase is 0.7 million, but that's only a 3% point increase. Whereas down here you can see, I think this is HAAS. Yeah, HAAS has got an increase of 22.5%, which we'll get to in a sec. But going back to Piastri, 3% value increase over 3 races, which is 1% value increase per race. Now, let's throw in, so I recorded this video a minute ago, but I made some mistakes. So we've got Bearman here with a negative score, because the trouble with this is originally I had it as this. So what's that? 0.75 is a great score. So that goes like that, which means he would have increased. So that's how I had it before. And then I'm going to redo what I did, but we're going to use Piastri. So, just to recap, Piastri scores 25 points in race 1, race 2, race 3. His score is good, then great, whoops, and now he's up to 23.7 million. Now we're going to give Piastri a hard time. We're going to say Piastri DNFs we won't do Australia. We'll say China. He's going to DNF in China. Okay. So just to highlight this, we'll turn it to red. So now, over technically 2 races, but using the free race theory, he's now scored a total of 5 points because he's got the -20. Put a DNF. So now his points per million is 0.22. And so his score of his total races, his total score over 3 races divided by his new value times 3 is 0.07. And so we can see down here that's terrible, because anything less than 0.2 is a terrible score for a tier A. So that becomes 0.30, and he has now lost in value. Okay. Now, let me just go back to how well, actually, no, I'll leave it. Now, the problem I had with this when I first put it all together is obviously I didn't have any negative points in it. Is the only value drop I had. Oh, hang on. Behrman needs correcting. Let's see. That should be. Wait, 1.37. That's a great result. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. That's better. So yeah. Originally, before making Piastri DNF in China, the only value loss, sorry, was Bortoleto in round 1, and then he gained. So I was like, okay, well then this can't be right then, because what I'm seeing on fantasy tools is a lot of teams are going to be losing in value, because remember I said earlier, the theory is we're going to lose value and then increase. However, when I look on fantasy tools now, it's changed, and the top 6 teams, so up to team 6, yeah, have all increased in value. My team has actually moved from 2nd to 4th in terms of points, but still gains 0.1 million, and I still save $1 million in the bank. Remember, these are simulations, and I'm assuming this is because we've had FP1 and 2 now. But the other interesting thing is around 6th and 7th place the other day, there was a McLaren Williams team, which has now dropped all the way to here in 17th. They do have a much higher gain in value, but a lot less points. Now, obviously, last season we wanted good tier C and B assets to gain value, increase our budget, then trade them in for bottom of the barrel assets, so that we could then use the rest of our budget to bring in top tier A assets. Value growth this season, from what I'm hearing, looks like it's going to be harder this year. And we don't want to fall away from our points total. We don't want to fall away too far from the leading point scorers. I think this is going to be a very delicate balance between scoring points and building budget this season. There's a lot of hype about Williams due to their performance in pre-season testing and over FP1 and 2. Don't get me wrong, just as a general F1 fan, I think it's great, and yes, I'm hyping them up as a general F1 fan. but as an F1 fantasy player, I worry that they're too hyped. And the reason I worry that they're too hyped is because we have to remember, if they get into Q3, then what? How likely are they to climb up into the top 5? Whereas with your backmarkers, your Hulkenborgs, your Bortolettos, even the HAASes, I would say at this point, probably have more of a chance because they're going to be fighting with a lot more even cars. In theory, for example, the Alpines, Racing Bulls look good. So yeah, for now, I think I'm sticking. I see a lot of people have said about maybe swapping Behrman for Jack Doohan, if I can find him. It's alright, it's me, I'm going blind. But I'm not saying it's wrong. I just don't want to write HAAS off just yet. I'm very curious to see what happens over the weekend. That's me personally. In terms of free practice, again, I've already mentioned about Williams. It's as an F1 fan, I think it's great. As an F1 fantasy player, it's what's putting me off choosing them. But the one asset that did stand out to me was Isaac Hadjar, who finished in P9 in FP1 and in 6th in FP2. And at 6.2 million, I think he's a steal. Also, going by my Excel sheet, if correct, or if this is roughly correct, he would have the highest increase in value, providing obviously he does well, of course. So I'm very curious to see what he does. So yeah, that's it from me, guys. I'm gonna edit this video down. I hope it all made sense. Actually, let me just put the spreadsheet back up so you can have a look while I just say my goodbyes. I would love to know what you think. Again, I'm not an Excel expert. This was just me playing around to see if I could. The goal was I wanted this. I wanted the value increase percentage. That's what I wanted. But then I ended up with a headache because I could see that assets were dropping for gaining, whereas I was gaining. So, however, now, like I said earlier, in the calculator, there's a lot more teams gaining now. So yeah. Anyways, if you do want to check out my team selection video for the weekend, then check out the video that I did on Tuesday after the game went live, which I'll put above my head now. As always, thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. As for this spreadsheet, I'm done with it. It's race time now, and we go from here. All right, thank you. Goodbye.